Welcome to the Lechteich Parsha podcast, where we delve into the Torah's timeless wisdom and uncover uplifting and empowering lessons tailored to the challenges of our generation.
A good dinner Shabbos, Parshas Chayei Tovshin Pevov. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a wonderful week. This week's shiur is sponsored by Yaakov Meir Sutiski and family, as well as sponsored and dedicated to Nishmas, my grandmother, Chayei Bas Avram Yitzchak. And Hashem having a liyam, it should be a mitzvah for our mishpacha, for all of Klal Yisrael. Thank you to our corporate sponsors, the Hassan Zaltz Law Firm, T7 Capital, and Bluestone Brokerage. For future dedications to sponsor the Lechteich weekly Parsha publication and podcast, please reach out to 845-367-2959. I feel that the avodah of the winter is really one pretty long avodah, and it's trying to stay focused. It's trying to just. I heard a shiur last night actually from Gershon Ribner on his podcast, and the shiur and the topic of the shiur, the shaila was, it's a month after Yamim Noraim. Like now what? Like we were invested in Rosh Hashanah, we were invested in Yom Kippur, the lulav, the esrog, the shofar, ne'ilah. It was like a big deal. It was real, and now we're like a month past. And for me personally, I believe that that's something that if we don't actually struggle with, we should be thinking about, we should contemplate, because the Yamim Noraim is the cornerstone. It's the foundation for the entire year. And then we're in the middle of Cheshvan, Rosh Chodesh Kislev is coming. It's like, yeah, Chanukah soon, but like, it's just always like bein a prak. And how do we? I think there's just one avodah. It's just staying focused. It's the whole package of avodas Hashem. There's no Pesach coming. It's just daily stuff, and it's the daily challenges, and that's really what I think these shiurim, that's what the whole Lechteich project is dedicated towards. It's just Lechteich and how we stay focused and strong in the daily life without the big spurts and the injections of inspiration of chizuk. So I think that's just the overall context as to why the shiurim are usually go towards the so regular stuff, back to the grind, because that's really what it is. When it comes Chanukah, we'll discuss Chanukah, but I think the other times it's just kedai to be mechazik in the regular, daily, inyanim, being a yid, with going through the emotions, with life itself, the challenges, the whatever is accompanying with it, and to make the best of it, and to become the greatest we can through the challenges, not despite, but through, and to become great from them, with them, obviously with the Torah. So having said that, this week I want to focus on the inyan of Habal Taharah Messiah Noisa, which means a person who comes to be matar, to purify. Hashem is Messiah, Hashem helps. Hashem himself, Kaviyachol, comes down and gives extra siyata d'shmaya. So that's a Gemara, and there's a Maimer, there's a Maisa that's said over with the Divrei Chaim of Tzanz. The Sanzer Rav once said, when he was very young, he said, my entire life I want to dedicate to changing the world. I want to dedicate to making the world a better place. I want to inspire, I want to uplift, I want to reach the entire world. As he got older, he realized that the whole world not shaykh, it's out of reach. He said, Chach Galicia, the entire Galicia, I want to be ma'or, I want to inspire, I want to be mechazik them. He got a little older, he realized the entire Galicia, it's too tall of an order. And finally he realized that at the end of the day, the only person who can be mechazik, the only person who Yitaka can reach, is himself. The whole world is great, the whole Galicia, the whole country is great, but there's no one better, there's no one greater, there's no one more important than reaching oneself, tapping into ourselves, to our quietest. And when he realized that, and when he focused, he honed on that potential, then he saw tremendous siyata d'shmaya, and he saw taka akiyim of Habal Taharah Messiah Oisei, because he was focused on what's possible, which is Habal Taharah. I'm coming, I see that I need to change. Hashem will take care of everyone else. But that's a maimer from the Sanzer Rav. We're always Habal Taharah Messiah Oisei. We're always trying to do more. And if you take a look in the parasha, a very interesting diuk that the Bnei Chayei picks up on. It's very interesting because when Eliezer, when he was going out to seek to find a suitable wife for Yitzchak, his name changes back and forth. In the beginning, you look through the psukim. Vayasam ha'eved ezod tachas yerach adoinav. Vaykach ha'eved asar gemalim. He was referred to, Eliezer was referred to as the Eved. Right? But later, after Eliezer found Rivka, the Torah switches. His identity, he becomes the Ha'ish. The Ha'ish mishta'ila, machish adas. Vaykach ha'ish vayishtachol Hashem. He becomes the Ish, he becomes the man. Vahihu terem kilo ledaber. He's again all these references to he's a person, he's a Ish. And the question is, what's taka this shinoi lashon that originally is called the Eved, and then he's called the Ish? What's the interpretation of this back and forth? So the Ben Bechaya says, incredible. Says the Ben Bechaya that when Eliezer calls man, he was Isaac, he was busy in the shlichus for Avram Avinu, in finding a suitable shidduch for Rivka, then he was called Ha'ish. Why? Because he was accompanied by a malach, and al shem malach he was called an Ish. He had extra siyata d'shmai, he was more wholesome, he had that he was surrounded by kedusha, so he reached the higher level of Ish, of a man, shlemus, right? But v'kasher hirshu oisai lavan of Vasuel, when he came back, when he was done, when he found her and he returned her and they got married and everything, then he reverted back to Ha'eved. He didn't have the malach with him anymore. He wasn't on a shlichus. He wasn't on a mission anymore to find a suitable shidduch for Yitzchak. He wasn't doing Avram Avinu's will anymore. He was back to regular Eliezer. And then he went back to Eved. That's the difference that Kozman, as long as he was Isaac in a mitzvah, he was Isaac in finding a wife, in Shidduchim, in Askanus, in helping Klal Yisrael. So then he had the malach with him and he was the Ish. But once he lost that, once that was over, he went back to Eved. So Reb Chaim Kaufman takes this a step further and he says for Mishcha Shemen. And he says, it's not only when a person is actually doing a shlichus, but even if a person wants to do a mitzvah, even if a person wants to be Isaac in a mitzvah, a person wants to be Mekadesh in Shemayim, even then, he also is zeicha to this level, this heightened mitzias of Ish. How so? He quotes the Gemara Menachos Mem Gimel Amud Beis. Says Gemara Menachos, Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov Omer, Kol sheish tefillin b'roishoi, v'tefillin b'zroioi, v'tzisis b'bigdai. If you have tefillin on your head, you're wrapped, you're cloaked in a talis, or you have a mezuzah on your Pesach, hakol b'chizik shlo yecheta. You have a chazaka, you have a segula from Hashem that you're not going to do any avera. Why? Because the Gemara brings down the pasuk, choinem malach Hashem saviv l'reyav. The Hashem encompasses, Hashem surrounds a person when he's doing mitzvahs, when he's trying to do mitzvahs, if it's on his head, if it's on his wall, and he wants to have a shaykhis to mitzvahs, then is choyna Hashem malach. There's a malach watching over you, there's a malach with you, holding your hand, protecting you, when you're Isaac in the mitzvahs. Not necessarily when you do, but even if you're just wearing tefillin, even if you have a mezuzah on your wall, if you're cloaked in a talis, even then, you have this extra siyat d'shmaya. When I'm Isaac, I'm part of the mitzvah, you have this extra siyat d'shmaya, you have this extra connection of being a ish, of being accompanied by a malach. That's what the Maharsha says. So what's the chizuk? What's for us? What's the side? The side is that as we go through, continue through a winter, continue through life, based on this Rabbeinu Bechaya, based on this Maharsha, whenever we're part of a mitzvah, we're actually performing the mitzvah, or even if you want to be part of a mitzvah, we want to be mishtayach to something big, to something great, to something noble, to something heilig, yesh lanu lilmod medivei chizuk ma'alya, that when we have a sourdough belev, eile lachshav ulehisasas belibay eich ucha lekayim a mitzvah. Says Rabbi Chaim Kaufman, a person could always think, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to get to the end, I'm not going to pull through, I'm not going to get to the finish line. That's not the cheshbon. The pshat is that as long as I want to be associated, I want to be a part of a mitzvah, I want to be a part of Mikadosh Shem Shemayim, ki me'etzem harotza in hini nivra kvar malach, shemenu mekabel siya ve'ezer kol tzad v'shal. Right then and there, when I take that step, I leave my comfort zone, I stretch my boundaries, and I say, Hashem, I know you want me to do more, I know you have bigger expectations of me. Immediately, right then and there, There's a malach that comes and accompanies us, as we see from Yisrael, as we see from Chazal. And it doesn't just become, it's not just some theoretic, it's not just some esoteric idea, but no, it's taka emes. We see from the psukim that Hashem gives a malach, Hashem malach. Hashem accompanies, Hashem gives siyata d'shmaya. When we try to be mishtaich, put ourselves in a matzav of mitzvahs and a matzav of ruchnis of dekus, Hashem Himself comes and lifts us up. He gives us an accompanying malach to help us on our pursuits. And a lot of times you can think, who am I? I'm not going to finish. That's all atzaseitzer. Just focus, and Hashem will give the siyata d'shmaya, and anything, whatever happens, that's all bashamayim. But in terms of hishtadlus, in terms of effort, that is incumbent upon us. And that's, again, what we see in the Torah, that Eliezer originally was called Ish. When he was oisik the mitzvah, he had that malach, he was the Ish. And when he was done with that, he went back to Eved. And as long as we are oisik the mitzvahs, we want to be metar, we want to be habal taharah, misayin oisik, we get the malach, we get the siyata d'shmaya, and we can't start being mizbayin, but it's not going to happen, and this is not, and strategizing, just do it, just start, and Hashem's going to help. Just want to, I think that's when we're done, but I just want to add one crazy mace. So, my wife, around Aseret Tshuva time, when there's an extra Zihirus in Paspalter, so they have the famous, what's it called, Trader Joe's sourdough bread. You know what it is? Sourdough bread, good loaf, so you should get on it. Sliced sourdough bread, it's delicious, it's really good. And we once had it, and we wanted to get it again. So I told my wife, when you're in Trader Joe's, go buy it. So she went, and she was determined, like she's buying it. That she literally went for the bread. And then as she's shopping around looking for it, she found it. She's so excited. And then all of a sudden she remembers, it says, "Metshuva, how can I buy this? It's not passes all. It's not." And she's like, "I'm gonna buy it anyway. Like we'll have it after." A whole thing in her head. Should I buy it? Should I not buy it? And it like overtook her because she literally went to Trader Joe's to bring it home. We'll have it for lunch, kishmak. But she's like, how can I do it back and forth? Mitamol out of nowhere. There's a girl, a friend of her, walking by. And my wife is like, what are the chances that she'll know anything about this bread? And she's like, I'll just take I might as well. Goes over to the stranger. She's like, do you by any chance have any idea if this bread is pasta soft? She's like, this bread? She's like, I just looked it up. I was just informed, it's pasta salt. They have a special run, and good to go. And when she told me this story, like she went and she had it sad. It wasn't minutes. It was maybe a couple of seconds in her mind, but back and forth. Should I buy it? Should I not buy it? It's pasta. And all of a sudden, even in the just thinking, the hisbonenus alone of trying to do the right things, not always, but sometimes Hashem will just throw. Pass the right shidduch right then and there. There's a random girl, she didn't know, but she had this idea, able to help her out and say it's possible, it's good to go. And again, for us, don't make the cheshbonenus. Just try, just be Isaac, and Hashem will take care of the rest. And for us, that should be a chizuk that we should take the mitzvahs, take the opportunities of taharah, mitzvahs, avodah, and give nachas ruach etzenu, and Hashem should give us the malachim to accompany us on our journeys, to our trials, to our travails, to our hopefully triumphs. And we should become the best we can become, and always be zeichet to the level of Ish when we're living on the highest level possible through Torah, mitzvahs, and avodas Hashem. Shkoyach.
I thank each and every one of you for listening. I hope you enjoyed, and I wish you a wonderful Shabbos.